Hey superstar, it's Gavin here from Wake Up Fulfilled. Welcome back to my channel. I'm a subconscious mind specialist and I help people reprogram their subconscious identity, the subconscious personality. In this video, we're going to be talking about new age relationships, new age love, or conscious relationships, conscious love. Be sure to comment below an affirmation or affirmation so that you're continually reprogramming your subconscious mind with my videos. And we do offer a subconscious mind diagnosis session at neutralityshifting.com. There'll be a link in the description where you can go check that out to find out what's going on in your subconscious mind so you can move forward and get what it is that you want out of life. So I just want to define how to have a successful new age relationship with love. It can really bring up some things out from underneath that you didn't know was there, like old traumas, past relationships. You know, they may say something, but the intention's not to hurt you or make you feel any particular way, but it made you feel a particular way, you know, because it's from a past relationship. They brought out something from the past for you to, you know, deal with and process. And they're only your reflection, so you can grow and expand and get to the next level. And if you can have that foundation in a conscious relationship that you're going to fight for each other, it can really create a good dynamic in the relationship where it's almost like you never give up on each other based on your own crap. You know what I mean? All of that stuff that's coming up from the past, it's going to come to the surface and maybe you'll blurt it out, blah, right? And then they'll get upset or whatever it is. Now, I don't mean fighting as in arguing. I mean fighting for each other as in, like, let's fight to work this out and find out and communicate and see what's going on rather than sort of running away. Because what we tend to do is operate in new relationships or conscious relationships based on our history with ego-based relationships, with relationships that were toxic, with relationships that were not fully conscious. And so we're relating it to that. Whereas in a conscious relationship, that person, if he's conscious, he or she is conscious, they're willing to work on themselves and deal with their own stuff. And it's not up to you to change them or, you know, do whatever it is. You can communicate with them something and tell them something or bring something to their awareness, but it's for them to go ahead and work on themselves. Whereas in an unconscious relationship, you tell someone to do something or you bring something to someone's awareness and they're like, no, they want to argue, they want to push it back on you, they want to blame, right? And in a conscious relationship, it's not like that. And so we have to be well aware of the differences and be more understanding in a conscious relationship, in a new age relationship. Because when you're new age, or when you're spiritual, or when you're conscious, or an empath, light worker, light warrior, you're in a very unique position, and chances are you're significantly more complex than just a general everyday relationship that's all about romance and, you know, what can we get from each other, right? I want to get this, I want to go out, I want to get love, I want to feel love and all this stuff. In a conscious relationship, it's not just about love. It's not just about, you know, what you can get. It's about what you can give, what you can contribute. It's about learning about each other, learning the dynamics, understanding that unique style of communication that person has, seeing your own flaws. It's really interesting. I have clients that come to me and they're well aware that they're causing a problem in their relationship and they want to change that, which is amazing. And so that's what you have to understand about conscious relationships. Now, some people are conscious, but they're with someone that's unconscious. They're not even into like personal growth or anything like that. And so that can cause a little bit of a dynamic and a problem and a challenge for you. So if you're in that situation, I've been in that situation where I was with someone who was kind of conscious, but she had narcissistic traits. And so all she could see was, I need to win and you need to lose. And how can I say, that she had no problems. Like there was no problems with her. Like she was perfect. In her own eyes, she was perfect. There was nothing wrong with her. Okay, so if you're with someone like that, it can be very challenging. And so what I found myself in that relationship, and I was constantly thinking, I'm the problem. I'm the problem. I'm the problem. Let me fix this. Let me change this. Let me adapt this. Let me talk a little bit more like this and all this stuff. I was doing all of this work on myself, but she wasn't necessarily doing the work on her side. And so it became a dynamic where I was always in the wrong, or I was always doing something wrong. And so if you are in a relationship that's like that, then I highly suggest that you perhaps get counseling. You talk to someone, have an external source where you guys can all communicate and understand each other a little bit more, and hopefully that will help. However, if the relationship is like that, it's going to really struggle if that person's not willing to open up to seeing their own stuff and being conscious of themselves and being self-aware. I invite you to try and heal yourself, but also to seek the help. If you can't get counseling and stuff like this, books, right? But then again, even in my relationship, I was reading books, I was doing all this stuff, and I even tried to do stuff with her, but it's like she would fall asleep, during these things, and that was a huge red flag for me. But I didn't clock it right then. I didn't realize it in those moments. And so it's important for someone who's conscious to be with someone that's willing to grow as well, because if that person is growing at a certain pace, if you're growing at a certain pace and they're like, trailing behind, it's going to be a real struggle. You want someone that's going to grow with you at similar paces. Maybe they're a little bit behind, maybe you know a little bit more than them, or maybe they know a little bit more than you, but it's like kind of the same level is where you want to be at. Because if they're too far behind, sometimes it can be very challenging to make it work. So in a conscious relationship, it's about understanding, it's about growth, it's about seeing them as your reflection. But it's also about romance as well. It's about romance, and it's about building something together. I suggest in a conscious relationship, you both have separate goals. I think in any relationship, you should both have separate goals and what you're wanting to achieve for yourselves. But then you should also have a collaboration where you got goals together, things that you want to achieve together. So you both have your separate goals that you got going for yourselves. The focus is that you're focusing on your own things, right? So you're able to do your own things, start your own businesses, your careers, your hobbies, and doing all these things. But then also having goals to do things together. That's what will accelerate your relationship. So they're also about, in a way, being like a role model for others, okay? Because your relationships can be challenging, and sometimes you have to have the foundation to fight for each other, to figure it out. Look at these unconscious patterns from the past, your history, your previous relationships, right? The pains, the hurts, the traumas from previous relationships, because they will come to the surface. Because that person, when you are with someone and you're in love with them, or you're in a relationship and you love them or you care about them a lot, what happens is your vibrations resonate at a particular frequency, and it's almost as if they're bringing you up to a certain level of sort of internal power. And in order to activate that power fully, you have to then purge out what's within you, subconsciously, emotionally. And so it's about realizing that and not running away from it, because a lot of people, what they want to do is run away from that, and they're afraid of it, and they retreat, they go backwards. And a lot of the time they want the relationship to be exciting. And I made a video previously about having peak experiences, people wanting peak experiences all the time. And that can be one of those things that not a lot of people will understand, but simple peak experience is drinking a Red Bull or a Coke, all right? That's a peak experience, and a lot of people chase that, going after that sweet or whatever it is. These are peak experiences. You're releasing a bunch of dopamine. It's not natural, okay, for you to drink these products, right? Or consume these products, or be on drugs or whatever. It's not natural. It's not necessarily good for the body or the mind. All right, it's not. It's a peak experience, and so a lot of us are chasing those peak experiences, thinking that's reality and that's what a relationship is, but not necessarily what it is. Okay, it's work, it's enjoyment, it's love, it's passion, it's growth, it's contribution, it's understanding, it's a way of building. I think that's one of the most powerful things in a relationship, is building something together. And so when it comes to new age relationships, it's about understanding the dynamic of what things used to be previously in your unconscious relationships and what it is now. Okay, and that's what will make the relationship last and sustain if you're in a conscious relationship. All right, so with that being said, we do offer a subconscious mind diagnosis session, and if you're interested in that, you can get that from neutralityshifting.com. There'll be a link in the description. If you need relationship healing, releasing your past traumas in relationships, maybe you've been abused, maybe you're being in a narcissistic relationship, maybe you're anxious in relationships. All of these things we can shift within your subconscious and really help you with that. So you can get a free subconscious diagnosis at neutralityshifting.com, and there will be a link in the description. And be sure to comment below an affirmation or affirmation. It's normal for me to be in a loving, healthy, and romantic relationship. Oh yes. Comment that below. And keep learning, keep growing, keep expanding, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.